what are your takes on kind of the current price action that we're seeing? Obviously, you're a long-term Bitcoin investor, but just kind of weighing these current market conditions up against some of these historical bear markets and drawdowns that you've been through.
Yeah, so I don't think this drawdown is as large as some of the ones we've seen in the past, and I guess it depends on your perspective. But I think 20K ish is probably the lowest we go. I've seen some people calling for lower, like touching prior year highs or even lower than that. But I think the ecosystem has developed to a point where it's not going to take that far of a hit. And even at the current levels now at like 20 something K, I think we're already oversold. And everyone that has sold has probably already sold. So we kind of know what happened now. And by the time the general populace finds out about it, it's probably the damage is already done, right? So I would say this is not investment advice. I think we're in the clear now and we're going to climb back up. But then I've also seen takes that the entire macro environment is shit and we're going to go lower, like stocks are going to go lower and everything's going to go blood red and maybe even depression, right? So it depends on your view, but I would say Bitcoin has to eventually decouple from all these things, right? Because Bitcoin is not a stock, it's not a tech stock, so there's no reason it should track a tech stock. It's tracking right now because there's a lot of Wall Street and trader money in Bitcoin, and their sentiment is directly impacting the price. Where the price is depressed now too because of all the DeFi blowups. So I would attribute that to contagion, right? All of these companies are gambling on DeFi projects and building on top of investing tokens on top of tokens and lending and borrowing on these tokens that are not really, in my view, worth anything, is what is causing all of these problems. But they're forced to liquidate their liquid assets, right? So they're selling their Bitcoin or selling Ethereum because these things are easy to dispose of and they can meet their margin calls with this. They're not going to sell harder to move things like NFTs or even the shittier shitcoin tokens, right? Like I don't want to name anything, but
Sure.
pick your random coin. It's probably not very liquid and there's no buyer for that, right? If you try to dump its size. So they're selling the valuable stuff first. Not that I think ETH is valuable, but it's more valuable than some of the other junk. But yeah, so Bitcoin obviously is the most valuable. They're going to dump that one first. So we're taking a hit. And if you watch the charts, actually, you can see ETH is dropping harder than Bitcoin because there's more ETH floating around and it's more disposable. Like they want to get rid of that ETH before they get rid of their Bitcoin. So that's why I would say the ETH BTC chart is dropping so hard. The other thing too is people are looking at the Fed and what they're doing with the rate hikes and quantitative tightening and everything like that. But I don't think that should apply to Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a global money. It should not be dependent on what the Fed says or what they do. So I think we just need a bit of time and we'll see a decoupling. And I've seen a couple magazines talk about it and a couple people like HODLNOT have talked about it on Twitter too. But in my view, the decoupling is where we start to break with all of these things. And that's when you see Bitcoin is not a risk on asset. It does not have anything to do with tech stock and it has nothing to do with monetary policy of one country.